Going on a trip in my favorite rocket ship.
Flowing through the sky, little Einsteins. First off, we're here at the Garfield Park Conservatory in Chicago, which raises the point that you're originally from Chicago, right?
I am from Chicago.
Gotcha, right. So considering you grew up in the land of 20-degree winters and 4 p.m. sunsets, what would you say is your favorite and, be honest, least favorite part of the country?
My favorite part of the country is New Mexico.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What part of it?
I like Santa Fe. Santa Fe is the capital. The landforms, the parks in the South. I don't know. The Southwest feels like America to me. Like represents freedom and the openness, the expanse.
I feel like there isn't a whole lot of like New Mexico love going around, so it's cool that you fuck with it.
Yeah, number one state for sure.
Hell yeah. And then least favorite?
Can I give my second favorite place?
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Florida.
Florida, interesting. Okay. Did you have a stop in either New Mexico or Florida for the Hypercontract tour?
No, we had a stop in Arizona. So we drove through New Mexico.
And on the topic of tours, something really interesting that our lovely production assistant Jane once said is that you have to do a lot of shows to feel like you really have wrapped your head around fully the concept of touring and the live experience and whatnot. So I'm wondering, did joining Brakence on the Hypercontract tour give you any more of you wrapped your head around it in that regard, or do you still feel like you have a lot left to learn?
Yes. Thank you, Brakence. One of my favorite takeaways from tour was I came back home with a really solid mind-body connection. I was a lot better at just moving around the world, walking and talking and using my body in a way where it was before doing all those shows, I had no idea what I was quite capable of as a human.
A while back in an interview, you mentioned that early monstercat music was a huge influence on you growing up. So I was wondering if I could get your opinion on a few classic early monstercat tracks.
My favorite one recently has been Razor Sharp.
Razor Sharp's a good one.
Yeah, by Pegboard Nerds and Tristan. Dude, it's so sick. It's so the Quest vibe. Also, I love right now that track Follow You by AU5.
Hell yeah.
You know that one?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So good.
You do a good impression of it. Hell yeah.
What else?
I have Cheat Codes by Nitro Fun.
Dude.
That song is so good.
Dude, Nitro Fun is amazing.
I didn't know he was 14 when he made that song.
Yo, Nitro Fun is the fucking GOAT.
Yeah, Nitro Fun is crazy.
Wait, am I allowed to swear?
Yes. Yeah, we're not on live television. You can swear. It's okay.
Swearing is caring.
Yeah, we don't got sponsors.
Swearing is caring.
I have Flight by Tristan and Braken.
Yeah, that one is so good. Yeah. That's the classic.
One's goated.
Disconnected is really special song.
This isn't quite monstercat. I think it's NCS. Hellcat by Desmian.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
No, I'm not tapped. I was such a monstercat purist back in the day.
I'm sure you know this one. It's also not monstercat, but Monster by Megan D, a remix.
No.
You're not familiar with that one?
No, I'm not tapped in. I'm exposing myself.
Monster is like the monster. How should I feel?
Oh, yeah.
Creatures lie
great.
here. Yeah, that one's great. Yeah. Yeah. And on the topic, can you tell me about the paradigm? Skrillex Kid, Porter Kid, Maddion Kid.
Whoa, crazy paradigm.
I was told this is something that you came up with.
Kinda, yeah. Well, I'm a Maddion kid. I loved Porter Robinson and Skrillex, especially when I was getting into electronic music. But around the time that I really started to make it, Maddion was the most influential to me. He's kind of just my vibe the most. I don't know exactly what the paradigm is, though, because it feels like neither of those kinds of kids would exist without the Skrillex kids.
It's like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
Skrillex, Porter, Maddion vibe. Yeah, yeah, and some Trinity shit. I love Maddion, though. His music, of the three of them, I probably listen to his music the most still.
And then in a Lyrical Lemonade article, you mentioned how you've spent a lot of time considering the visual language for the Gabby Start project. So I'm wondering how do you approach things like maybe this interview fitting into the sort of world that you've crafted for Gabby Start?
I would say a great deal of it is really inspired by nature. You know, some of the tech that you can get by just looking at a freaking leaf. There's a lot of design sauce in nature that I really want to try to communicate with my project. The goal is always to harmonize between something that humans make and then also some nature.
And considering how comprehensive the visual language for the project and how put together it is, I'm wondering are there any skills or artistic endeavors maybe video editing, any sort of stuff like that you've wanted to dive into but haven't had the time to?
Yeah, After Effects is dope. Or some really good CapCut editing.
And were there any lessons that you learned in the creation of Luca and Alex that's informed what you have coming next?
You know, both of those projects were like me wanting to dive into something a little more specific. With Luca, it was like really try and sit down and create some pop tunes in a very methodical way, like studying other songs, figuring out how they were made, what tactics could I employ and repeat to like make my own songs. And it just ended up being that 5-song package. For Alex, the goal was really to like get the music in a new space. And I think that that's kind of where we like started to enter like this stuff again. The only thing that I want to say about the next stuff right now is that it's pop. It's just time to pop. There's no other option.
And that raises the point that I feel like both Luca and Alex are pretty ambitious sonically, but also in terms of like the rollout and everything. So I'm wondering, like, through the creation of those two, did you ever struggle with like sort of the sense of like scope creep of like having to one-up yourself one more time? And if so, how have you pushed through that?
Yeah, I'm still dealing with that. I've been making music for a lot longer than I've been doing Gabby Start for. You shouldn't be trying to one-up yourself every time, in my opinion. It's more like a rope that you're trying to stay holding on to the whole time, and you want to follow it as far as you can. I think each release should feel like a step in a new direction as opposed to just trying to like one-up yourself.
That's a good way of putting it, like a step in different direction rather than like a step up or anything like that.
Yeah, you know, don't you want to see like the evolution of your favorite artists over time? Like where they started, where they are now, where they're going. Like that's always kind of the satisfying part for me.
Next, who's your favorite Ninjago character?
Kai.
Kai, I'm glad. Okay, we agree
Kai.
on that one. Yeah,
You like Kai?
I love Kai. I was mad when I found out what is his name. Is it Zeke that ended up being the Green Ninja? I think it's Zeke, or no.
No, Zane is the white one.
Zane, right, yeah.
Cole is the black one.
I don't know. All I know is that I like Kai. Kai's like kind of the Mordecai of the group, I feel like.
Yo, yeah, Kai's definitely Mordecai. Ninjago Mordecai.
Ninjago Mordecai. Like, he's kind of a dipshit, but we love him for it, sort of thing. Next, recently you put out a couple tracks that interpolate Grimes' Flesh Without Blood and Neon Trees' Animal, which raises the point that you're not the only one pulling from that era of music for inspiration. Like, even just this week, we saw Megan Thee Stallion freestyle over the Like a G6 beat. So I'm wondering, like, how do you feel now that that era of pop music is entering the sort of revolving door of what's old is new?
It's our time to shine, gang. Come on. Don't fumble the bag here. We're all in this together. We were all there the first time. We can do it again this time. All of that music came from a giant cultural breakthrough that took place between 2009 and 2014.
Jane lovingly refers to it as recession pop.
It's recession pop, but it's also the exact time period when the millennials were at the age that we are at now. It was a renaissance of sorts, you know?
Sure.
There's no doubt. I think we're there. But we can't fumble the bag.
Next, in researching you for this interview, it occurred to me that over the years, you've amassed quite a few different side projects and accounts and whatnot. And I feel like I'm always hearing like my musician friends be like, oh, I want to start a side project. I want to make an alt account. So I'm wondering, like, as someone who has taken that step quite a few times in the past, what would be your advice for getting the most out of a side project?
I think me having as many projects as I do sits in my mind as a little bit more of a setback than something I'm proud of. But I am proud of it for certain reasons, because you can open up all those different channels of expression for yourself. I think the key is just to not be that precious about them.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, just put it out, you know? Go take some iPhone pics.
And
then upload it onto SoundCloud. Going on a trip in my favorite rocket ship.
Flowing through the sky, little Einsteins. Yeah. If you could be reincarnated as anything, what would you want to be reincarnated as?
A fox.
A fox? Any type of fox in particular, or just fox?
Arctic fox.
Arctic fox. They're cool. You ever seen the videos of them like diving into the snow and stuff?
Yeah, those are some cool motherfuckers.
If you could pick one person to be the ambassador to communicate with aliens, who would it be?
Jane Remover.
You think you would handle that well, Jane? Would the planet blow up, or would we be okay?
I don't know. I feel like we could get
We would be fine if Jane was the human ambassador to the aliens.
Hell yeah.
Have no worries.
Next, you went to NYU, right?
I did go to NYU.
I feel like there's a lot of importance placed on institutions like NYU in the creative world, not just music, but like film and stuff too. So I'm wondering, I'm asking as someone who got rejected by NYU, what do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about art school in general?
The main thing is just that it's not something tangible necessarily that you get out of the experience like you would going to liberal arts school or, like a trade school. The main takeaway for me was just that I got a really good like community network out of going to it. The friends that I made ended up being most of the friends that I create my art with, do my projects with. If there is one positive or interesting thing I would say about NYU, I think the artists and art that emerges from the school hits a really high technical caliber. And something about the mood and kind of just like feeling of living in New York meshes with that like quality standard to create really ambitious art. I think he dropped out, but like Harmony Korine I love his movies, and they hit such a high technical caliber, but also have this kind of like angst from within.
Yeah.
You know, and that may be more about where he comes from, but he kind of made that happen at New York, I think.
Have you seen Aggro Drift yet?
No.
No, we just watched it the other night. It was great.
Is it good?
It's the movie of all time, is what you described it as.
It's not good, right?
I gave it 5 stars in my review as worst movie ever made.
What is Voice of Reason 2?
Yo, what? How do you know about that? Did Gabby start?
Okay. 2018. Oh, actually, maybe it was 2019. I don't even remember. I wanted to make an album, like a fully completed album, and involve a couple of my friends at the time and never release it. It was a finished album, completely packaged.
Okay.
It had cover art and music videos, but it was all created for the reason to like not release it. Voice of Reason 2, the song, first song on the album, it was inspired by the underscore song Voice of Reason. I decided to send to April the project files that I was working on, and I was like, yo, do you want to like be involved in this? Slowly, Voice of Reason 2 became this like uncohesive internet band that was like me, Circuit Hour, and underscores. Was there someone else involved?
This is 2018, so we're talking 6 years ago. Yeah,
There easily could have been someone else involved. Some of the track titles from Voice of Reason 2, 2001 in Illinois,
Okay.
Life on Europa,
There's some banger titles.
Sandwich.
Sandwich.
There was like one song about Honda Odyssey. It was some like minivan ass, punky ass future based shit. Like it was fire, low key.
Is there any possibility of this ever seeing the light of day, or do you think this is going to stay like Gabby Start Lost Media?
Yes, there's a possibility.
And considering how new the Gabby Start project is in the context of all the music you've put out, I'm wondering, like, how do you look back on your music dating back as far as Voice of Reason 2?
With great fondness. I think that 2018, it was a really important year for my music. That was also the year just me and April became like way closer friends and started working on a lot of music together. So I was really like growing a lot, like getting a lot better in that time. It was still high school, releasing music kind of just like to see what happened. And honestly, like going back to all of that stuff, whenever I visited, I'm just like, dude, this was great. Like, I was on some sick shit in high school. The only thing that I don't love is, like, the way my voice sounds and all that music.
I feel like a lot of my friends, whenever they look back on their music dating back as far as, like, 5-6 years ago, they, like, really hate all of it. So it's cool that you're able to look back with fondness on that stuff.
I definitely like it.
Hell yeah.
I have hated it before, though.
I mean, it's par for the course.
I actually don't hate any of my music right now.
Awesome. Hell yeah. And then no matter how many new artists you discover, it seems like there's always 100 more you wish you found sooner. So if you could pick a handful of artists to put our listeners onto right now, who would you pick?
Girl EDM by Nina Geraci, Bass Punk by Bass Victim, Peter Parker 69.
Hell yeah.
Peter Parker 69 is the actual goats. Emo Tegi just put Under My Skin on Spotify.
Really? Okay, cool.
My friend Peculiar Ethan just started releasing music, and his song Oscillator is really, really good.
And then you've collaborated with quite a few people over the years, but I'm sure there's still plenty more you want to work with. So if you can name a handful of dream collaborators, who would they be?
Jane Remover.
We brought it back to you a few times this interview, yeah.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Would you prod or would you do vocals with her?
I would do whatever it takes.
Hell yeah.
Billie Eilish, Madeon. Yeah, I don't know, that would do it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you'd be kind of set.
That would be
Madeon
buckets.
placement, Billie Eilish. Like, yeah, I think you're probably set after
That'd
that.
be buckets. But Phoebe for real.
Finally, what are you looking to accomplish this year? What can we expect from Gabby Start going forward?
Step 1, Gabby get life together.
Okay.
Step 2, Gabby drop bangers.
Step 3, profit.
I feel like 2025 is like, we're going to be uppies.
Hell yeah.
We're going to be uppies in 2025. 2024, though, I want to attend a music festival this summer, an EDM festival.
Okay. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for joining with me today. Dude, we were so in sync on that.